Juwan Smoot's been doing on the field. Can you speak to his leadership and his work ethic that you've seen since you've been there?
Yeah, gosh, he's every day he comes in here with a plan to get better, and he just, I know a guy like that probably would love to get more snaps or play longer or whatever, but being on a rotation and whatnot keeps these guys fresh. But he's a team player through and through. He prepares that way, practices hard. A great leader in the locker room with the guys, and someone that's well respected.
What type of player is Patrick Mahomes?
He's a great player.
How much of a challenge will he be for your defense?
It's a huge challenge.
Will you guys be able to contain him?
We hope so.
What are you going to do to try and do that?
With a guy like that, he does a great job of, just sort of ad-libbing, sort of on the run, out of the pocket. He's hard to sack, hard to get to. Ball comes out fast, and it can come out anywhere. And that's what makes him special, and we just got to do our best to, stay attached to receivers and tight ends, backs out of the backfield, and the pass rush has got to be, it's got to be on point, and try to put as much pressure as we can and try to keep him in the pocket. But that's a challenge. That's hard to do.
How has their offense changed from maybe what you saw last year when they had Tyreek Hill to now where it's truly running through pretty much Mahomes and Kelsey?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is probably just the deep balls, not quite as many as what you saw a year ago. But they're still explosive. They can still catch and run through the defense. Kelsey in the red zone is tough to defend. And, Coach Reed is just a great designer of plays and to get his guys open, but that's probably the biggest thing is just not as many, down the field deep throws.
I'm sure you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No.
Yeah, I'm sure when you design your offense, you pick and choose and take from a lot of different people. But for you, how much is Andy in Kansas City versus Andy when he was in Philly an inspiration kind of for you?
Yeah, it's obviously I spent a lot of time. He's coached me, and I've worked with him and worked for him and everything, and the players love him. He's hard. He's a disciplinarian. He demands a lot. All the things that I strive to do. In my job, and then just with the offense. He is creative. Does a great job of putting his guys in positions to make plays, and you just see it over the years. The teams that they've put out there have all been great football teams, and same thing in Philly. It started out slow in '99 when I was there as a player, but quickly escalated with better talent around and a better quarterback at the time, and they were competing for NFC title games just like they are now in Kansas City.
Does going back to Kansas City mean anything for you?
It's good food.
Barbecue?
Yeah, it's obviously it's a great place. The Midwest, a great place to live, raise a family, all of that, and Arrowhead. Just what you miss is that probably the fans there. It's a passionate fan base and great atmosphere on game day, and it's going to be exciting.
Do you have a statue outside that stadium as well?
No.
Okay.
Where's the barbecue?
Yeah, which is barbecue.
Yeah, where's the?
I can't comment. No comment. I will incriminate myself.
In all your time as a player and as a coach, have you ever seen a greater depth of really good to elite quarterbacks that we're seeing now, particularly on the AFC side of the ledger?
Well, go back to, when I first came into the league. You had, when you think of quarterbacks, there were, guys like, Dan Marino were in the league, and the Jim Kellys were in the league, and, it's just Troy Aikman was playing. There were some great quarterbacks then, and Steve Young was playing, and, you think about some of those, Elway was still playing, at the time, and some great quarterbacks. Now, I'd say that over the years, the position has changed probably a little more towards the Steve Young type of quarterback, where these guys are a little more athletic, can move around a lot better. Offenses are different. The RPO has changed our game. but the talent of quarterback is still especially in the AFC is high. There's some great young quarterbacks that are up and coming.
Yeah, I was just going to get to that because a lot of the quarterbacks you mentioned were on the backside of their career. Those great quarterbacks you mentioned were on the backside of their careers. Now it seems like there's at least a half dozen in the AFC that are 27 years or younger and have already shown elite skills. And
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, is a lot of this the age we live in? These quarterbacks are getting to these 7-on-7 tournaments in high school. They're getting prepared maybe a little bit earlier.
I think so. I think there's just more availability, more training when they're in high school and college, and there's you can send a guy to any camp or any specialist out there to develop his skill set, and I think that they start at a young age, and there's a lot of competition out there, so it makes it fun to watch, to see such young talent at that position in the NFL, and these guys will be competing for a long time.
With everything Gene just said there, scoring's down in the league. Got any theories on that? I read something today about the shell defenses and having changed maybe some of the big play opportunity.
There's some of that. I think defenses are getting, leaner, better pass rushers, on the defense. Coverage guys are getting better. I mean, it's just comes in cycles, comes in waves, and it's where we are. It's still a league too where I think I've said this before, you throw to score, you run to win, right? And you kind of have to be built that way, and you utilize your strengths when you can, and rely on the run game, obviously, in this league. But the teams that are there at the end are all teams that can throw the ball and score points.
Rayshon's still in the concussion protocol. Any other injuries at this time? Or?
No, everybody else will get some work in today. Practice, both the walkthrough and the practice, and then Rayshon's the only one, still in the protocol.
How did you feel Jamal played, coming off obviously missing 2 games with the knee strain?
I thought he played good. He was explosive. Had a nice return there to start the second half. Probably missed an opportunity, just some blocks, things like that, but just missed on maybe one more. But I thought coming off the injury played well.
Travis Etienne leads the league in 25-plus yard runs. How important or huge is it to be able to have a guy that can rip off a big play like that at any given moment for an offense?
I mean, it is great. It's good to have a guy that's making plays like that, especially explosive ones. Credit the guys that are blocking, obviously, and creating those holes. But he's been able to rip through some arm tackles and extend a run. But you never know. You never know when that one play is going to come where he's going to rip one off.
One of the most, Mahomes probably the most frustrating quarterback to face from the standpoint of no look passes. If you feel like you've gotten corralled, and then it's 60 yards across the field.
Until we get to our next game. I mean, you think about it. I mean, Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. Guys like that are that athletic and can move around. They're frustrating because it's hard to get them down, and they do a great job of extending plays, and that's where a lot of the explosiveness comes from, right? Is some of the broken plays that they create.
He's willing to make throws though that other guys won't, like another throw.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. There's a little bit of a no fear factor, but and that's it's probably a little bit of his upbringing and how he was raised, and I know how he was coached and how he's coached now, and it's part of him, and you kind of respect that, that there's that sort of that no fear mentality.
The defense has struggled a little bit with some of those mobile quarterbacks this year. How do you prepare for, I guess, the next 2 games?
It's a challenge. We've just got to learn from our past, learn from the mistakes we've made, and try to correct them this week. It's going to take a great team effort, obviously, to if we can get to him, and still be able to maybe break up some passes down the field, and maybe even a chance to create some turnovers off of a tip or something like that. But it's a full effort, all hands on deck, so to speak.
You got a guy who's going to be Pat Mahomes in practice?
I don't know. Maybe. I'll figure it out here in a little bit.
What kind of strides has the offensive line taken? It seems like over the last month they've really settled in.
They have. I think we're one of the tops in the league, and as far as passer rating, as far as getting hits on quarterbacks, we keep our quarterback pretty clean. They've created some great holes in the run game, and it's really good to see Luke settling in, and he has great communication with those guys. Tyler Shatley, the way he's come in and played consistent, and you got the veteran obviously in Brandon, and the two tackles I think are playing consistent and really good. So, obviously they work hard during the week. Phil has them well prepared each week, and we just got to have another good performance this week.
Sorry, Coach.
Right.
When you look at this upcoming game, do you kind of get the sense or feeling that you did before the Chargers game, where you guys have a chance to go on the road, do something special against one of the better teams in the AFC?
Yeah, I mean it's one of those benchmark games. You're going against a team that's been one of the top, in the AFC, and obviously won a Super Bowl here recently, and it's a challenge. It's a challenge to go on the road. It's a great place to play. It's loud. The weather's going to be a little cold, 40 degrees-ish. It's going to be a different environment for us, but we don't make any excuses. We just go play and try to gauge where we are, against a football team that's pretty good.
Is that Chargers game too far back to go back and try to recall it into players' memory, or how will you
When was
kind of
that?
get them prepped?
I know, it was like 6 months ago.
Yeah, I mean, you can go back and sort of look at that game and, take a look at preparation that week and just how we handled that whole trip. Guys did a nice job there, and we've got to be able to duplicate that, really all the home or road games, and this is no different.
You make any changes with the schedule this week as a storm other than practicing inside? Maybe Thursday, Friday?
No, just the practice inside, just with the rain coming and the storm, hitting us later today, tomorrow, I think, and Friday.
It's shortened today again. Is that because of last week?
No, it's that time of the year, really. We're in week 10. Guys have played a lot of football, in the 2.5 months, and just want to make sure that they're fresh and ready to go for Sunday.
Knowing how loud Arrowhead can be, is it almost an advantage that you're playing inside? Maybe do you amplify the music? Do you blast that? Or
Yeah, I will. I'll do it later in the week. I won't do it today because I don't want to have a headache by Friday. But you do everything you can to prepare your guys. Crowd noise is one of them. It's great. Again, like I said, it's a great place to play, and for our guys that haven't been there, it's going to be fun.
Did you listen to Trevor's Mic'd Up segment?
I haven't
No?
listened to it
Okay.
yet. Yeah.
I'm just curious your thoughts on smack talk. Do you want quarterbacks to be talking smack? Do you want
I'd
players
love
talking
it.
smack?
I love it. Really,
Okay.
I do. I mean, I played with a guy. I played.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, no, I played with a guy that was probably king of the trash talking and back and forth in Brett, and it's good to see. Good to see that the guys as long as they keep it in fun and all of that back and forth. But yeah, it's good to see.
Yeah. One of the big critiques people have said, does Trevor have the quote unquote dog in him? I'm just curious, just small sample size, but the week before versus this week, did you see a different edge to him this past Sunday?
Yeah, I think he wanted to, prove himself, that he's capable of bouncing back and having that type of game, and I think his mindset was right all week and handled it extremely well, and did a nice job leading our team.
All good? Yep. All right. Thanks, y'all.
Okay, thanks guys. Yep, thank you.
The original.